Page 1, The Fisherman's Catch. Once upon a time, there was a poor fisherman who lived in a small hut by the sea. Every day, he went out to fish, hoping to catch enough to feed himself and his wife. One day, he caught a golden fish that could talk. Page 2, The Talking Fish. The fish begged the fisherman to let it go, promising to grant him a wish in return. The fisherman was surprised but curious, so he let the fish go. Page 3, The First Wish. When the fisherman went home, he told his wife about the talking fish and its promise. She immediately demanded that he wish for a bigger house, so they could live in comfort. The fisherman hesitated but eventually went back to the sea and wished for a bigger house. Page 4, The Second Wish. When the fisherman returned home, his wife was still not satisfied. She wanted more, so she sent the fisherman back to the sea to wish for a castle. The fisherman felt uneasy but did as he was told. Page 5, The Third Wish. The wife was still not happy with the castle, and demanded that the fisherman wished to be a king. The fisherman was reluctant, but he didn't want to upset his wife, so he went back to the sea and wished to become a king. Page 6, The Queen's Demands. When the fisherman returned home, he found that his wife was now a queen. She was even more demanding and wanted more power and riches. She sent the fisherman back to the sea to wish for her to become the ruler of the land. Page 7, The Golden Fish Returns. The fisherman went back to the sea and called for the golden fish. The fish appeared and asked what the fisherman and his wife wanted this time. The fisherman explained the situation, and the fish granted the wife's wish. Page 8, The Queen's Greed. The wife was now the ruler of the land, but she was still not satisfied. She demanded that the fisherman wish for her to become the ruler of the seas, too. The fisherman knew that this was too much, but he was too scared to say no. Page 9, The Golden Fish's Warning. When the fisherman returned to the sea, he called for the golden fish and made his wife's wish. But the fish was angry and warned the fisherman that he had already granted them enough, and that their greed would lead to their downfall. Page 10, The Wife's Punishment. When the fisherman returned home, he found that his wife had indeed become the ruler of the seas. But she was now so powerful that she no longer cared about the fisherman, and he was left to fend for himself. Page 11, The Fisherman's Regret. The fisherman regretted ever making a wish in the first place. He missed his simple life by the sea, and he wished he had never caught the talking fish. Page 12, The Golden Fish's Return. One day, the fisherman went back to the sea and called for the golden fish again. The fish appeared and asked what the fisherman wanted. The fisherman explained his situation and begged for the fish's help. Page 13, The Golden Fish's Offer. The golden fish offered to grant the fisherman's wish to return to his old life, but warned him that his wife's wishes would still be in effect. The fisherman agreed and wished to return to his old life. Page 14, The Wife's Demise. When the fisherman returned home, he found that his wife's wishes had come true. She had become the ruler of the seas, but her power had made her cruel and selfish. She was now alone and miserable, and she died soon after. Page 15, The Fisherman's Gratitude. The fisherman was grateful to the golden fish for helping him return to his old life. He realized that happiness could not be bought with wealth and power, and that true contentment came from the simple things in life. Page 16, The Moral of the Story. The moral of the story is that greed and ambition can lead to one's downfall. It is important to be content with what one has and not to be blinded by the desire for more. Page 17, Lessons Learned. The fisherman learned that it was better to live a simple life with his loved ones than to have everything he could wish for but no one to share it with. He also learned that it was important to appreciate what he had and not to take it for granted. Page 18, The Golden Fish's Legacy. The golden fish's legacy was that it taught the fisherman a valuable lesson about the dangers of greed and the importance of contentment. It also showed that even the smallest and seemingly insignificant creatures could have a profound impact on one's life. Page 19, The End. And so, the fisherman lived out the rest of his days by the sea, content with his simple life and grateful for the lessons he had learned. The golden fish continued to swim in the sea, a reminder of the fisherman's past and the valuable lessons he had learned. Page 20, Acknowledgements. This story was adapted from the Brothers Grimm fairy tale The Fisherman and His Wife. We thank them for their contribution to the world of storytelling, and for inspiring us to learn important lessons through the power of narrative.